So I'm going to speak about Mortal Kombat 1 and what I think is going to happen in the story mode, Aftermath, and what I think potentially could happen and how we will get a noob, cyber, and etc. etc. So I think you got two ways of doing this. You either kill Kuan Yan and he becomes a noob cyber and Hanzo becomes Scorpion, or you kill Bihan and he becomes noob, and then Kuan Yan becomes Sub-Zero and Hanzo becomes Scorpion, or Hanzo becomes Sub-Zero and Kuan Yan stays as Scorpion. Now, what does that mean for the main roster? Well, you could end up having Noob Saibot as main roster with potentially another Sub-Zero and another Scorpion. So you can have two Scorpions, two Sub-Zeros on the main roster potentially. Quite possibly. Now, who is the mystery character with the question mark on it going to be? The answer to that question, I believe, is going to be Jade. I think that's a strong possibility. I also think maybe will we get Cyber Smoke, Cyber set on Cyrax possibly, but I think if you're going to put that main roster question mark slot, it has to be Jade. It's going to be Jade on the new side, or your Assembly roster. Either way, it doesn't really matter. I think it'd be Jade though, personally, but there you are. I know that in the start they said there was some new characters. Decatur, I suppose, is new in a way of he's much older than what he was before. His story is now changed, and he's no longer obviously Kenshi's son. In fact, he's Kenshi's cousin. Now, do I think this game is better than the previous game? Do I think the changes have made a difference? Yeah, I think it's better in a certain sense. Changes. The thing is, I think for me, and this is my point of view, obviously, too many changes can ruin the game. So far, they haven't ruined the game. Obviously, Scorpion being Kuan Yan, being brother with Sub-Zero, fantastic, great, it's brilliant. But we all know that. Now, the other question I have, obviously, and this is a big one for me, big painful point, is we all know that Hanzo Hasashi, aka Scorpion, was killed many times. Throughout the whole time of games, he was always presumed. In fact, he was dead. You know, that was it. He was dead. And I believe in MK Gold, I believe it was, he said, and I quote, his words were, "You can't kill someone who's already dead." Now, with that being said, you can't. Then the question is, how can you have Kuan Yan portraying a Scorpion, right, and not being dead necessarily? Because that's what Scorpion was, obviously, and that. So, although there is a skin which I've unlocked myself, where you actually see, I believe it's the flesh of Scorpion with the fire around it and all that kind of shit, because he hasn't gone down to the skull yet. Whereas obviously, Cameo Scorpion has the white skull, so there you are. So we know that in Aftermath, we know that Titan Havoc is going to be sort of coming in and being the chaos, blah blah. And obviously, we also know that Noob Saibot was going to make an appearance at some point during the game in the story. So I personally think, on a strong note here, this is my possibility, they are going to kill, and I'm sorry to say this, people, I don't care what anyone says, it may upset a lot of viewers on the YouTube, but that's just how this is what I think. They are 100% going to kill Bihan. Bihan is going to become Noob Saibot for the simple fact that Bihan has always been Noob Saibot. Is from his dark imagination, as you said before. He's become, he was killed before he became evil. He turned into Noob Saibot. Kuan Yan doesn't have the dark nature in him to become Noob Saibot, and that's just the way I see it. So, with that being said, Bihan is going to be turned into Noob Saibot. Now, how do you get Sub-Zero? Do you, this is what I think, do you maybe Hanzo Hasashi becomes Sub-Zero and Kuan Yan stays a Scorpion, or you go the other route and Kuan Yan becomes Sub-Zero and Hanzo Hasashi becomes Scorpion? Now, with that being said, I think it's very unlikely that Kuan Yan becomes Sub-Zero for the simple fact that he's currently Scorpion, which means, and I quote, he has fire powers, not ice powers. Now, we don't know what powers Hanzo Hasashi has, what elemental things he has. Does he have ice? Does he have fire? So I think because we don't know what he has, it's very likely that Hanzo Hasashi will become Sub-Zero and Kuang Yan stays a Scorpio. In the fact that Beihan is when becomes dead, whatever. I think that's a possibility. Then, what do I think? Do I think Mortal Kombat 2 will have Hanzo Hasashi a Sub-Zero? Potentially, do I think Noob will be in MK2? Do I think Scorpion will be Kuang Yan still? Yes. The question is yes, I do think that's some possibility for MK2. But we are focusing on Mortal Kombat 1 right now, not MK2, the second game or whatever it may be called in the future. But there you are. So, I do think that's what's going to happen. That's what I think, and that's my opinion, right? Also, what I want to touch upon is interesting, I think, and this is quite I'm sure maybe you've noticed this, you're probably going to agree with the same thing as what I'm thinking right now. Raiden and Kun Lao, both, obviously Raiden is no longer Thunder God, he has to get powers through what they call it, Anthem thing, whatever they call it, right? Point with it. But they work on a farm together. It's almost like they live together. Now, my initial thought was, could they potentially have Kuang Yan and Raiden being brothers or cousins, or where in some kind of way, potentially, why they live on the same farm, they work together on the farm, they look very similar. If you notice the hats and stuff, the clothes they wear, they look very similar. I mean, I thought both of them, I still can't tell which one's Kuang Yan, with Liu Kang, and which one's Raiden. So, do I think they're related? It's possibly, very strong possibility they are related indeed. Do I feel that's... Yeah, I think it's some possibility that they are related. That's what I think. So there you are. Now, so obviously the other changes notably that you will notice is, of course, one of the biggest changes actually in this game is Kitana and Mileena are sisters. Mileena was not cloned from Kitana. She is her sister. Mileena does have the Takatan infection, or disease as it's so called. Now it's not Takatan as a species anymore like it used to be. They've changed that. Shao Kahn is no longer Shao Kahn. In fact, he is General Shao. So there's a lot of changes in the game that make a difference. Ermac. Now, if you played the game, you're going to know what I'm going to say, right? Huge surprise. Who would have thought Mortal Kombat 1 would have gone that route and that would be possible? Well, it's possible when this happened. Man. See, now, at the start of the game, I won't say it's in swim mid, when they were talking about disease effect, I thought, and this is what I thought, and I tell you what now, I still think it's possibly the correct thing. Right? When the Shin Sun was talking about, I can cure the Takatan disease, blah, blah, whatever they call it, right? There's one person that stood up for me. And that person come out and he said, and I quote, "You didn't help my daughter. You didn't help my daughter. You didn't benefit my daughter." Now, I thought, is that King Jared? Could that have been King Jared before the whole thing happened later on in the game? And the answer to that question is, I believe that it could have been King Jared because Mileena, as far as we know, is the only female on the roster who has been affected by the Takatan disease. Therefore, her father, King Jared. So, do I think that was King Jared? Yes, I think it possibly very strongly was King Jared. Who then become, later on, we all know what happened, right? I mean, we all know he become later on. Now, the other thing I'm going to touch upon is the tower engines. And I'm going to speak about one tower engine, a few of them. I'm sure you've all seen tower engine stuff. I don't know if I can get them up on... I don't know if I can play them for you on the video here when I'm recording. I'll do another one at some point. But anyway, no, I'm joking. I'm not going to do that shit. That's terrible. But anyway, so there's what changes there. And, yeah. So, in fact, just to confirm, Hanzo Hasashi is in the game. He's in a tower ending. I'm sure maybe you've already seen the tower ending, so you know what's like on talking about. I'm not going to put up on the video here because I can't bother to do it right now. But anyway, that's what I'm going to say about it. So yes, I believe Bi-Han is going to be killed and will become New Cyborg, and Kuang Yan will say Scorpion, and maybe Hanzo Hasashi becomes Sub-Zero or something like that. Anyway, some crazy thing like that, man. We don't know what's happened, but that's what I think. So I'm going to upload this to YouTube, and hopefully I'll get some comments on it. Thank you. Bye for now.